Okay, so I was scripting another video, but I just bought Dragon Marked for Death, and I really felt the need to talk about it because I feel quite passionately about this game. Not in the good way. As a lot of you guys know, I am a huge fan of Inti Creates. I love the Mega Man Zero series, I love the Mega Man ZX series, and if I haven't made it completely obvious, I especially love the Azure Striker Gunvolt series. When Dragon Marked for Death was announced, I was very excited. They brought back a lot of the people who worked on the Mega Man Zero and Mega Man ZX series, and that was enough to get me on board. And so I bought the game. I didn't like it. There are a lot of individual reasons I feel this way, but I want to make this video short and sweet, so I'll just state my biggest problem. Dragon Marked for Death completely lacks that Inti Creates magic. Take games like Mega Man Zero, Azure Striker Gunvolt, Power Rangers Samurai for the Wii. All of these games, except of course for Power Rangers Samurai for the Wii, have one thing in common, and that's that the games have a beautiful combination of movement and combat. In these games, you're dashing around, getting through the level as fast as possible, and despite there being enemies in your path, the flow is barely interrupted because you can quickly dispatch them on the move. The basic enemies in Zero can easily be defeated with a single slash from the Z-Saber, which can swing very fast and can swing while dashing or jumping. Even the tougher enemies will rarely take more than 5 seconds of your time before you're on the move again. Gunvolt, in my opinion, doesn't do this as well as Zero, unless we're talking about Copen, who is on par, if not better than Zero in this aspect, but Gunvolt still flows beautifully. This marriage of combat and movement is what Dragon Marked for Death gets completely wrong. Dashing isn't nearly as fast as it is in the previously mentioned Mega Man Zero or Gunvolt. The dash feels like this weird hybrid between Mega Man X's dash and a traditional run button like in Super Mario Bros., and it feels so wrong and not Inti Creates. Also, for some bizarre reason, they decided to make the most basic of enemies have way more health than the enemies of other Inti Creates games. Here's a clip of me defeating a basic enemy in Mega Man Zero. Now here's a clip of me defeating a basic enemy in Dragon Marked for Death. The flow of gameplay is brought to a complete halt every time an enemy is on screen. In other Inti Creates games, you see an enemy, dedicate maybe a half a second to it, see them explode behind you, and then move on. In Dragon Marked for Death, enemies are less of an obstacle and more of a roadblock. Fighting them isn't hard, it's just tedious and not fun. You could just run past them, but guess what? This game has RPG elements, and killing enemies gives you experience points to level up. So you better dedicate half a decade to each individual enemy, because if you want to increase your attack and speed enough to maybe play this like an actual Inti Creates game, you're going to have to kill some enemies. Have fun. I feel like this game was designed around the multiplayer, with the single player being an afterthought. It does make sense to have enemies with large amounts of health, because with a friend, the enemies will go down just as fast as they do in other Inti Creates games. The flow is never interrupted, and the game is legitimately fun when you have someone with you. But this comes at the cost of making the single player mode much less fun, and I don't think it was worth the trade-off. I think I've screamed into the void that is the internet long enough. There are other reasons I dislike this game, but this is my most significant one, and I really don't think you guys want to hear more of my voice than you need to. Now, I don't think that Dragon Marked for Death is a terrible game. I just know that Inti Creates could have done much better with this game considering their track record. I would have given this game a 6 out of 10, but because of how utterly let down I was with this game, I have to bring it down to a 3 out of 10. Very disappointed, Reggie. Sorry if this video is bad. I wrote this script in an hour and a half, and it's basically just a way for me to vent my frustrations with the game. I plan on playing more of it see if it gets better, but right now I am very bitter, so I'm going to play Gunvolt instead. Goodbye.